Meet the coach.
I'm Ellie and welcome to the channel. Today is my 30th overall video and my third reflection video, and I am almost 8 months in. And in this video, you get to meet the coach who is facilitating the 100-week challenge.
Yes, my name is John, or aka Teaspoon. I've been involved in personal business and leadership development for the past 30 years. I qualified as an NLP master practitioner 35 years ago. I have 3 books out, and I am passionate about stirring people, stirring the greatness in them. That's why I teaspoon. People often ask why teaspoon, and the answer is simple. I believe, like a cup of coffee, you've got the ingredients. You've got the coffee, you've got the sugar, you've got the milk. You pour in the hot water, you don't drink it straight away. You need the flavors to permeate the whole cup. And in order to do that, you take a teaspoon. A teaspoon adds nothing, takes away nothing, just stirs what's there, brings it all into alignment in order to make sure the flavor is worthwhile. And I believe people are exactly the same. I think they have everything that pertain unto the success of life and godliness within them. And if they don't have all the resources, they've got the capacity to create those resources. But they're not always aligned. And what they need is a bit of stirring in order to get that alignment going, in order for them to connect with who they really are. So I have been stirring people for the last 30 years.
I am going to ask Teaspoon some questions about the 100 challenge, and he's going to answer those questions. So let's get into that.
The 100-Day Challenge was born in 2015. There was 209 people, organizations that started the process, and out of the 209, 143 have completed it. So they actually got to the end of their 100-day. You are the first and only one that's doing a 100-week challenge. So I no longer can call it the 100-day challenge. So thank you for that, Ellie. It is the success of it is in doing it over a long period of time, and you doing it in 100 days has been fascinating, and just see what the revelations, what the discoveries are over that time period, and if it correlates within the 100-day challenge. It became 100 days because I needed to give expression to some business models that I was developing at the time. I needed to put it into practical application, and it's 3 models. One was for clarity, one was for focus, and one was to create momentum. And I said, I put it back to back, and it came out to, I don't know, 80 whatever days. And I don't like odd numbers. I like numbers. I think numbers tell a story, and new beginnings is the number 1, right? So 100, even though it's 100, it's about 1. So the story of the 100 challenge is about implementing new beginnings in your life to make it a way of life, to make it an identity, because we get in this life who we are, not what we want. Initially, the 100-day challenge got a lot of flack because people were like, oh, I don't want to commit to a process for so long. Why can't it be a 5-day challenge, or why can't it be a 30-day challenge? And they were popular at the time. 30-day challenges were popular. And for me, it was a case of, well, you want to implement something within your business. You want to get success. You want to generate momentum in your business, but you can't commit to a process for more than 30 days. That is a fundamental problem, right? I think it highlighted the fact that the commitment issues were there. And that's why a lot of people start the process and never complete it, because there is a commitment issue. And they are not buying into the process in the same way. And it's the difference between applying performance versus it being born out of identity. Because I'm a strong believer of, we get out of this world not what we want, we get who we are.
So, Mr. Teaspoon, when you say we do not get what we want, we get who we are, what does that really mean for someone stepping into a 100-week challenge?
So it is a good question in terms of if you need to understand that it's not about getting what you want. Getting what you want is, there's two mindsets to that puts people at a disadvantage. One, a lot of people look at their business development or their personal growth as a plaster that they then stick on, a band-aid, and it's there temporarily, and then they're going to go back to what their old habits, their old way of doing things, and that didn't make sense to me. So we don't get what we want because wanting something means that we are coming from a place of lack. And if we put in the energy of lack into the universe, that's what we're going to get out of it, is lack. So you've got to understand that what we manifest in and around us is a direct consequence of who we are, of our identity. And the 100-day challenge is not about a performance mentality. It's not about ticking boxes. It is, but the ticking boxes process is about shaping the identity. Shaping the identity of the kind of person that's going to get the results that it is that you're looking for, that's going to have the kind of lifestyle that you're designing. Because once you've got that identity, that way of life, those results are going to be inevitable. Then you have to have them. If you have somebody that has a mindset of, I am a runner, for them to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and run 10 or 15 kilometers in the morning before breakfast is not uncommon. It's not strange. But it is very strange for somebody that will say, I am lazy, I'm a couch potato. You don't expect that behavior from them. And it's not about the expectation from the outside. It is the expectation that they have on the inside, that they are going to live to those expectations naturally, comfortably, that it's not effort, it's not hard work for a runner to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's a way of life. It's how it is. It is how it is, right? And setting ourselves a 100-day challenge is not about following a process for 100 days and then we're done and dusted. It is about shaping the identity that's going to continue the success going forward. It's about sustainability. It's about shaping who you are in order to generate the business, the life, the lifestyle, the results that you ideally want.
Why did you choose to organize the entire journey into clarity, focus, momentum, and influence? And how did these four components shape a person from the inside out?
So the four words, clarity, focus, momentum, influence, come from the Kairos model. So that's one of the business development models that the 100-day challenge is based on. And like the development of a child or the development of a seed, going from a seed, germinating, becomes a seedling, becomes a sapling, eventually it grows into a tree. There's various stages. In terms of the development of our vision, you've set a goal, you've set an objective that it is you want to achieve. There are developmental phases, stages that it goes through. And each phase requires a different energy, a different focus, a different set of principles in order to make it work. And I sat down and I said, okay, so what are the phases that we need to go through? And clarity was the first thing, right? We need clarity on our destination. We need clarity on what it is that we need to achieve. And the clarity is really a journey that happens, or something that happens all the way through the journey of the 100 challenge. I'm very insistent that people get like good clarity, and people say, oh, I know what I want. No. In the 100-day challenge, you get clarity. I'm sure you can testify to the amount of clarity. And everybody that's gone through the 100-day challenge successfully, they say they were so blown away by the intensity of the clarity that they had in the beginning when they started the process. And they thought that was the alpha and the omega of it. And they just realized, no, it was really just the alpha. It was just the beginning. As you grow and progress in this, the clarity that comes out of it is just phenomenal. It's just phenomenal. That clarity helps us develops courage to step out. And in that process of stepping out, we develop focus. We focus on the actions that need to be taken, and those actions is what creates the momentum. So there's a knock-on effect. It's like dominoes falling over for me. It's a natural flow as far as I was concerned when I was designing the model. The influence part is when we get to a stage in the development of our organization, development of our vision, where we need external inputs. And we've got to be very clear that what we are doing for the rest of the world is we can't control, right? We can only influence. So we are growing up in a process where we are creating a sphere of influence. And in doing that, creating the influence, we need to be influenced. So there's a give and take there. There's an exchange of energy. And the influence, the amount of influence that we create is directly proportional to the amount of success. It's not what we know in this world, it's who we know, right? So the Kairos model literally is about get clarity. That clarity is going to help you focus on certain steps. Those steps are going to help you create the momentum. And then that momentum is about some of that momentum is about developing relationships. It is about creating the relationships with those around us and those that are going to benefit from what it is that we're putting out there. So when you're coming into a 100-day challenge, you got to know it is a process of growth and development. We want you to crawl, and then you're going to walk, and then you're going to jog, and then you're going to sprint. And it's in that process you get stronger and stronger, and it shapes your identity. It shapes who you are in the process. The beauty about the Kairos model is it takes the original intention to start this project, to achieve an outcome, to achieve a goal. And it recognizes the fact that that intention is going to be turned into an identity. And once it becomes an identity, the achievement of the goal becomes a sustainable, go with the flow kind of process, because then it comes out of who we are rather than what we're doing. It's not about performance, it's about identity.
Many artists struggle with direction. How does the 100 model help someone reorganize the right moment to act, to shift, or to leap?
The Kairos model, or the 100 challenge, is not about clock time. And I often say it's not a box ticking exercise, although it is. But the boxes that you're ticking, it's not about adhering to a time frame. It's more like a seasonal thing. It's like a seed being planted in the ground. You're not going to plant it in the ground today, walk out tomorrow and expect a harvest. You know that there is progress. There is an evolution, if you like. The seed's got to do its thing. It's got to germinate. It's got to be a seedling. And there are certain timing indicators. There are certain season indicators that will give a signal to say, now's the time for the next step. And a lot of businesses, a lot of people in pursuit of outcomes, they want to skip steps. And that's like building a house, but you want to put the roof on, but you haven't put the walls up yet. You're going to have a tough time. So instead of running out and skipping steps, especially the ones that are hard, right? We don't like to do the hard work. So digging the foundations is tough. When you're building a building, it's hard to dig down, and it's kind of counterintuitive. To go up, you need to go down first. And that's what literally happens, is there is a natural flow in all of it. And if you follow the process, the seasons will give you indicators that now's the time for that, now's the time for this. And it evolves one to the next. So what the Kairos model will do is kind of point to generic season indicators that'll say to you, okay, once you see these signs and symptoms, you know you're moving in the right direction, and it's maybe possibly time to consider the next step or the next phase in the process. You and I haven't really spoken much in the way of those indicators because it's a more drawn out process. I do it a lot with the guys in the 100-day challenge. And 100 days sounds a lot, but it actually goes quite quickly. What's been interesting for me in your challenge is you are seeing the signs, you are aware, and there is this natural evolution, and I'm thrilled with that. You are picking up on what needs to come next naturally. It's a natural growth, a natural development in your process of growing your channel. And as you look in, you're seeing, oh, I now need to do this. Oh, I've mastered that. I now need to do this. I'm comfortable doing that. I now need to start incorporating this. Beautiful. Loving the way it's coming out naturally. So I've not needed to have those conversations with you. You are, but you bang on mark right now. So in terms of alignment, so the timing here is not about clock time. It's about alignment time, making sure that all of the processes are shaping the identity, and like a seed growing, you have what you need at that phase of development. And you have been spot on, like a child looking around and saying, okay, I need, mommy, I need food, or I need clothes, or I'm cold, or whatever the case may be. You've reached out and laid claim to what the next step is in good time. So it's been fascinating to watch. And what's really impressed me with your 100-week challenge is, I think in the 100-day challenge, people are pressured to achieve the outcomes, and it does become somewhat performance-oriented instead of identity, where yours is just purely growing out of the identity, and it's a natural evolving. Beautiful.
Quick side note here. As Teaspoon mentioned, he never really discussed that with me because I would have done the exact same thing just because of the way that I am. I would have made a to-do list out of it, and everything would have come from an outcomes mindset as opposed to identity. He knew that about me, and I didn't learn until recently that his decision not to disclose that was very intentional. And that decision makes me appreciate his expertise that much more. Very clever approach. Good call. You also work closely with identity. Where do people usually get stuck when trying to become the person who can live their dreams rather than chase them?
It's a great question. People get stuck when they have to let go of old beliefs. And it's a battle for them to do that. And they self-sabotage in the process because people inherently believe that they are right. And the thing for me is, I always have to say to them, if your old ways were going to create that success, it would have happened already. Because then it would have been born out of who you are. So those old identities, those old habits, those old ways of looking at the world are not serving you. They are survival mechanisms. You develop these identities when times were tough. And it is this self-protection mode that we go into. And it serves a purpose. And we're not knocking it. We don't belittle it. A lot of people on the 100-day challenge will look at new beliefs and say it's too simple for it to be that, and rather cling on to their old ways of doing things because it feels safe, it feels familiar. Your brain chooses familiar over happiness all day, every day. So it's a case of breaking those old patterns. And that's why, in terms of the 100 challenge, it's a natural evolution. They will get to the place where they've grown up in the new principles, the understanding their values, shaping their behaviors naturally to the place where they say, okay, they can let go of their beliefs. If they're trying to speed up the process and they're skipping steps, that development, that safety net isn't there. And then when it comes time to let go of those old beliefs, they're not ready. Then they self-sabotage. And that's in the 100-day challenge, that's normally around between 30 and 60 days. It's when it really gets tough for them. And I'm interested to see from week 30 onwards how those old beliefs are going to rear their head and put in resistance to the new ways of doing things. You're shaping new beliefs. You're having a look at business in a different mindset. But right now, that's academically. There's going to come a time where you're going to have to act on it on a belief level, and then you'll see whether or not the resistance is there. We've got ways of dealing with the resistance. I'm an NLP practitioner. Shifting beliefs is what I do all day, every day. It's like eating breakfast. But people don't like it because they are safety mechanisms. Your old beliefs kept you safe. If those old beliefs could make you successful, they would have done it already. So you got to know you have to change those belief systems. You have to let go of them and embrace new ones to get the life that it is that you want.
For an online creator, moments of doubt can be punishing. How can clarity protect an artist from losing themselves to the noise?
Oh my gosh, clarity is so important, right? Clarity sorts the noise, and especially for people that are artistic. The shininess of the opportunities that then arise when they start moving into the realm of I'm working towards achieving an outcome. Then suddenly these opportunities arise and they want to grab and seize every opportunity. Not every opportunity, not every door is going to lead to a passage that's going to take you to the outcome that you want. And sometimes people will open doors and go and sit in rooms that are just distractions. So what clarity does is it stills the noise. It helps you make decisions to say, is this going to take me in the right direction, yes or no? And there are times, I'll say it's like a GPS, right? So the clarity is you've got clear definition of what the end picture is, where your destination is, the outcome of this process is. If I have to take a detour for whatever reasons, there's obstacles in my path, it happens, right? So on a GPS, it'll take you on a route. And in that route, there might be new things I haven't seen before. So opportunities to look around, and there's nothing wrong with it. But when I then change my course, you can change your course if you decide you're moving the goalpost. There is danger in constantly moving the goalpost. You're not going to score, right? You're not going to achieve the outcome. If you keep moving the goalpost, that in itself is a danger. Where the clarity is going to say, that's the fixed destination. Achieve that, arrive at that destination first before setting a new goal. The clarity is going to make sure, even if there are deviations, detours, that you still stay focused on the route, you still stayed focused on the destination, and you're going to work to arriving at that destination. And once you get there, you can look around, survey, your surroundings, and then make a new goal. But don't shift the goalpost. Clarity helps us solidify, cementing the goalpost into the ground. I always say if soccer was a game where the goalie was a taxi driver and the goalposts had wheels and an engine, and they could drive the goals around, you would never score. You would absolutely never score. Yet so many people do that when they're in business, starting their business. They shift the goalposts. They start and they'll get a little bit of success, and they're like, oh, let's make this a bigger goal, a richer goal. Oh, you're shifting the goalposts. You're not going to score. Put a ball in the goal first, achieve it, look around, see what's going on. Then you can set yourself a new target. For me, the achievement of vision is a three-step process. There is an acceptable vision, which is normally the one that we start with. There is a good vision. In the process of growing, we realize, oh, we can set this bigger one. Don't set it yet. Achieve your acceptable vision first, then set the good one, and then in that process, you're going to come across the third one, which is going to be the perfect one. So you're working through the acceptable, the good, and the perfect will for your life. allow clarity to let that process evolve naturally, keep you on track, keep you focused. See how clarity keeps you focused. You can't separate clarity and focus.
You often say that focus is a discipline of character rather than a technique. What does that look like in real life when the pressure of posting and performing builds?
So, focus is not a technique, it's a character trait born out of discipline, where we choose to resist the distractions and that take us away from achieving our outcome in favor of paying attention to that which is going to take us to our outcome. It, it, it sounds ridiculous, but so many small business owners, so many solo entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs, or even the artist entrepreneurs, they get distracted by the possibilities and the opportunities, and they diversify. They've got many forks in many fires, and very few of those actually contribute to the achievement of their outcome. The temptation when people see you moving in a direction, they like that energy, they get excited, and they want a piece of that action. And in the process of you growing and developing, you're going to get a lot of invites, which are purely just noise, purely just distraction. And if you deviate from your path to engage in those activities, chances are you're not going to reach your outcome. So focus is about looking at those distractions and saying, well, thank you. That's very nice of you to make that offer, but that's not for me at this time. It's not for me at this time. I'm not there yet. I'm not ready yet. I got invited to be a part of a group of people that are on TikTok, in actual fact, that we were associated, and they wanted to get together and have a live public event, and book a large venue and sell tickets and all that kind of thing. And I was like, lovely. I'm not there. That's not where I am in my growth and development right now. It's not that it's not on my path. It's on my path. But in terms of the timing, and this is the beauty about the Kairos, is you'll know when the timing is right. There is a natural flow to it. And that invite to me just felt forced, it was false. So it's a case of focus for me is looking at opportunities that arise, tasks that you do on a daily basis, and just evaluating, is this taking me to my outcome? Yes or no? And it's got to take you directly to your outcome or indirectly. Things like accounting, sending out invoices is a time-consuming process. It needs to be done, right? And if you are in the business on your own, you're the chief cook and bottle washer. You have to do all of those tasks. There will be tasks that indirectly take you to your outcome. Need to be done. But I've seen too many businesses just get sidetracked by things that aren't going to take them. They involve themselves. They clutter their day, their diary, with things that don't take them to their outcome. And then when I challenge them on it, they say they don't have the time for other tasks and activities. Why would you fill your diary with stuff that's not going to take you to your outcome? Does that make sense? Fill your day with tasks, duties, daily rituals, habits that are going to take you to your outcome. This is where the saying, success is built on daily habits. Those daily habits need to be aligned to your outcome. And when you do that consistently, people will look at you and say, wow, you're focused. That's what focus is avoiding the distractions for the tasks, routines that are going to take you to your outcome.
How would one know when is the right time to take certain steps or certain actions?
How do you recognize if an opportunity is for you? If it's a surprise, if it's come out of far left field, you weren't expecting it, it's not the right timing. And you'll get a lot of business coaches that'll say to you, never say never. Never say no to a client. It opens doors of opportunity and all the rest of it. And I say the same. But I want you to know when you say yes to it, it's going to cost. You don't have the resources in place. You're not really prepared for the process, and you don't really have the time in your schedule. So it's going to cost you. And the value that's going to come out of it is not going to be great. In fact, somewhere along the line, you're probably going to mess up and it's going to tarnish your reputation, which is going to take you a while to prepare. But that's not to say it's not for you. It just means not now. So if somebody, like a commission comes up and says, please do this painting for me, you won't, far left field, you won't considering it, you're not prepared for it, you don't have the resources for it. To say yes to that is going to set you back. It's going to cost you, it's going to be a risk. And the cost is literally its time, its resources. The risk is the tarnishing of your reputation, the reflection of your reliability. You're not going to have the opportunity to demonstrate your values and the integrity and authenticity that you want to at the level that you want to initially. But when it pops out of the woodwork like that, you look at it and then you got to say risk versus reward. If it's like a really big reward, far outweighing the risks, far outweighing the cost of you doing the job, by all means do it. But I've got to say to you, what I would do is I now look at that. I've had it in the past. Something came out of far left field. It was people wanting to organize a big event, and they stroked my ego, right? They were like, you dude, you must be the main attraction. So I looked at it and I said, the value's in it for them. They were going to benefit in terms of reputation. They were relying on my audience to arrive to come and see me in order to get their name out there. But what I was not in the place for it. It was far left field for me. I was not ready for it. And saying no, those people vanished. We have no connection anymore. So that just says to me that they were, riding the shirt tails. They what I call vision vampires. They see you putting out the energy. It's like a wave building up, coming to the beach. It's still got that swell. It hasn't quite crested yet. And people will climb on that and ride that, sapping the energy out of you, changing the course, changing your direction, and with real threat of hurting your reputation. So it's risk versus reward, right? Evaluate it. And it's not that you must ignore it and say, no, never, I'm not doing that. Just if it's not on your radar, it suddenly pops up. Just pay attention. Okay, this is interesting. Not considered this before. I'll consider it going forward. But maybe saying no to the first one. And then prepare for it. The second time somebody comes along, then you are ready. You have the resources. You have processes in place. And you're not going to tarnish your reputation and reliability. That's key. Mustn't hurt you. If it hurts you, wasn't the time. Wasn't the time. You'll often hear people say, you know how you do a good deed for somebody and it somehow bites you in the bum. When somebody says they do good deeds for people and it bites them in the bum, you got to know it came out of far left field. It's not on their path to achieving their goal. It's an extension of it's not an extension of who they are. It's beyond their scope of their identity. They had to go out of their way. That's why they feel the bite in the bum, because it's cost them. It's cost them. There was risk involved. Don't do it. Is my recommendation. Don't do it. Prepare for it. Prepare for number 2. Show away number 1.
Momentum is fragile, yet essential. What are the small behaviors that turn a scattered artist into a consistent one?
You're right. Momentum is fragile. And there's 2 things that momentum runs on. Number 1 is the scope of work. It runs on boundaries, right? So the far extremes of what it is that you have to do. So from the most boring to the most exciting. And in between there, it is making sure that you stay consistent in that. And committed is the second part. Commitment to the daily tasks, rituals, and routines that are going to push you forward. It's easy to get comfortable, to get stuck in the admin of the job and avoid the marketing, for example. But that's part of within the boundaries, and we need to be committed to it and stretch ourselves and say, this has got to inch us further, this is going to inch us further. The secret to creating momentum is to make sure that we do a little bit every day, that we're just expanding our reach a little bit every day, not our scope. Our scope remains the same. The scope literally is the crawl, if you like, or the boundaries of what it is that you do. But I also like to say, like on a weapon, you would put a telescope or a pair of binoculars, you go bird watching. You can look at the general vicinity. Once you pick up those binoculars, your area of visibility is very limited. And momentum relies on the fact that you are focused on the scope. And you're doing little tasks that are just inching you forward every day. And it doesn't have to be large. At a stage, I was writing a couple of books, and for me, it was a case of I set in my diary an hour to write, whether I felt like it or not. Inspiration doesn't always come within that hour. And it's not about inspiration. It's not about the great feeling. It's taking the step, doing what's required, even when the emotions don't necessarily align to it. That is the key to successful momentum, making sure we're moving in a little bit in the right direction every single day, every single day. Every task that you do, is it taking me to where I want to be? And that also lends itself to, there are times in taking those steps, I need to reach out and just engage and interact with people that may be further down the road, will create the opportunities to open doors, point me in the right way, or point the crowds towards me. So that's also important.
Influence is usually treated as numbers. How do you redefine influence so that it becomes something a creator can build from the core of who they are?
Let's start by saying influence is resonance. It's not about the numbers, but at a point, we don't need to look at the numbers in order to say we have the influence. Influence comes from when you are aligned with your identity, you live in your truth. People will look at that and resonate with the authenticity that's coming from it. If I'm being true to who I am, I'm speaking my truth, I'm living my truth, that vibration is going to draw my community, it will draw my tribe. Having done all to stand, you need to stand. That influence is about making an impact with who I really am, relating to, connecting to my community. It takes time. But the numbers follow the depth. If I'm going to chase numbers, I'm going to become the clown marionette that's pulled by strings of what's popular, what's going viral at the moment. We can see it on the social medias as trends, ripple through. People are chasing the trends because their numbers are dependent on them responding to the demands of the environment. That's not influence. That's being a clown. That's being an entertainer. Influence comes from depth. Once you connect with who you really are, once you are confident and comfortable in the identity, the numbers will be there. They'll come. They'll start clocking in. They'll start following you. When you are authentic with your truth, in your truth, comfortable in who you are, comfortable, good at expressing who you are. Doesn't mean you can't be an entertainer. You can be an entertainer, right? But your outfit mustn't be that one of a clown. Your identity mustn't be shaped by the external forces. Rather, it must be true to who you are on the inside. That's when the influence starts to really have an impact. You affect people where they're at, who they are, with who you are.
What shifts have you already seen in people who commit to the long game rather than the quick win?
Oh my gosh, I think we can use you as the example in this one, Ellie. Um, I think the long game helps people mature in terms of what it is that they want to achieve, helps them steady their identity. So I look at you and I see your decision making process has become calmer. It's not a hectic, frantic thing to keep up with the trends. It's born out of who you are, what it is that you want to achieve. So the standards, the direction is a lot calmer, a lot clearer, a lot more certain. I watch you in terms of your work ethic. Wow, you know, it's deep. It's coming out of who you are, born from wanting to achieve the outcome, knowing that you are moving in the direction. There is a confidence that comes, knowing you're moving in the right direction. Born out of the clarity, knowing that you're moving in the right direction. Watching the evidence in your environment align with, point in the direction that you are moving in the right direction. What has really struck me with you is just the gradual confidence that you're developing, the boldness to step out, trust in yourself, happy to put yourself in public's view, open to criticism and condemnation and all that kind of thing, but confident in doing it because it's an expression of who you are. People don't like it, they can move on. That connection with true self, the expression of authenticity is just, it's beautiful to watch. It's absolutely amazing. And I've seen it in the 100-day challenge over and over and over again, is people just become so calm, confident, self-assured. Decision making is a lot more stable, a lot more certain. People are happy to move in. They know they're moving in the right direction.
If someone watching this feels lost or unsure of who they're becoming, what is the first simple truth they need to hear before they begin their own 100-day or week path?
Well, that's the beauty of the 100 challenge, is you don't have to be ready. The point of walking the path is that the path will shape you into the person that you need to become in order to achieve what it is that you want. If you are tired of the circumstances that you're living in, tired of limiting yourself, tired of the self-sabotage, but you want something more out of life, and maybe you know what you want, you don't even have to be 100% clear. The 100 challenge will clarify what it is that you're in pursuit of, help you become that kind of person that will achieve it and live it, and guide you in your growth and development. You don't have to be ready. You don't have to have the answers. Point of the journey is to get the answers. Point of the 100 challenge is to get the answers on the journey. That is the point of the 100 challenge. And I've got to say, you're doing that amazingly, fantastically. So well done. Congratulations. Very proud of your journey. I'm very proud to be a part of your journey, your work ethic, your commitment to the realizations, the revelations that you're getting, the ahas that you are having, not just about who you are, about limiting and empowering beliefs, but also the tasks and activities that are going to refine you, your path, make sure you achieve your outcome, has just been high quality. So well done, Ellie. Yes, 3 books. One is the Leadership Code, the 101 of leadership development. The other one is the value of vision. So we talk about designing a vision. So a lot around what we are doing now, the start of how do you go about recognizing what a vision is, your own view and opinion of what you want in your future. Do you know it's a vision, or is it just, a silly dream or a vague ambition? So that's what a value of vision is about. And then I've got Osram the Dragon Slayer. Osram the Dragon Slayer is about values. So values is instrumental in the development, guiding our life, developing business, developing connections, relationships, helping us stay focused, and it's the fundamentals of authenticity. It's also the fundamentals of cultural and brand design. Shh, we don't say that too loud.
Teaspoon's books can be found on Amazon and Ko-fi. I will have it linked. That is Teaspoon, the coach facilitating the 100-week challenge. But as you heard, it's a challenge that can be wrapped around anything and is typically done over 100 days.